Well, folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and guess what? I am not in the creek bottoms or out on the lake fishing. My buddy David, I'm all the way over here in Hawaii. That's what we say in Texas.
Hello.
David has got an awesome place, but the main thing I'd like to do, David, is let you tell our folks that's listening, if you come to Hawaii, I want you to find this fella and come up here and enjoy we haven't eaten yet, but it smells good.
It's delicious. It's delicious. Like we say, can you say ono?
Ono.
Ono means delicious in Hawaii.
Oh, delicious.
But anyway, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Aloha to you. And yeah, this is a beautiful Nut Ridge estate. This is the first commercial macadamia plantation in the country, and one of the first in the world. And it's we sit here on 20 some odd acres with over 2,000 macadamia trees. They grew all the sweet potato up here, just up from downtown Honolulu. So it's a pretty special place. A lot of history here.
Very fertile soil, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. This is the newest land on this island. So it's less than 10,000 years ago this volcano blew, and the soil here is full of iron and minerals, and it drains well. And we're kind of halfway between Waikiki, where you're getting 10 inches of rainfall, and the rainforest. 8 miles away, you're getting 40 to over 300 inches of rainfall. Yes, so we get some. It's a great condition for the plants, the trees, everything.
Folks, what you don't know yet is David, it doesn't take a hunter long to find another hunter. He lives right up on top of the hill here, and to me this is a tropical paradise. Lots of hogs, and this rascal is using his crossbow to harvest one occasionally, right?
That's right. You know, the pigs are really well fed here. They're coming down the valley and they're eating. We got wild mango, wild banana, the passion fruit, also known as lilikoi. They're eating the potatoes, the sweet potato, digging them up out of the ground. But they love macadamia nuts. And like I said, with over 2,000 trees, these are well-fed pigs, really good.
Folks, David says the way he hunts them back in I call it a jungle back here, but the way he knows they're coming, these macadamia nuts, I've learned this much, they're one of the hardest nuts.
Yes.
Well,
it's dinner time.
It's dinner time.
We call it cow time.
How do they find you online?
If you go to Experience Nut Ridge, it's the macadamia nuts on the ridge. So experiencenutridgeluau.com, you'll find us.
Okay, experiencenutridgeluau.com. Let's go eat. What do you say?
Aloha and good morning, Luke. It's about 6 a.m. here in Honolulu, and I'm here at the historical Nut Ridge Estate, home of the Experience Nut Ridge Luau. And as you can see, that's what I wake up to in the mornings. I'm looking down into Punch Bowl National Cemetery, across Honolulu Harbor, the airport, out to the west side of Oahu. And here at Nut Ridge, it is the first commercial macadamia nut plantation in the islands, if not one of the first in the world. And it just so happens that wild boar love macadamia nuts, amongst a whole bunch of other things. We do have our share of fruits. We have the avocado trees and wild mangoes, wild bananas, and just a whole bunch of other things. And you're gonna see all that in just a little bit. I'll take you back down in the woods here. Let's go take a walk. All right, well, here we are. We're back in these woods that I talked about, just a short stroll from the main house. And it's just beautiful back here. There's so much history. This used to be the King's sweet potato farm. They call this place Pu'uwalaka'a, the hill of the rolling sweet potato. And you know, the pigs will come down. You know, we have a lot of these wild boar because they've actually outlawed hunting up here in the valley. And the residents that live up in the upper mountain there did not want the hunters coming through, so they outlawed the hunting. So what happens, all these pigs are multiplying and they come down through the valley and they come onto this property because they know we have all these wonderful fresh fruit. And I just gathered a couple off the ground as I was walking back here, but this is the lilikoi, commonly known as passion fruit. But these are just some examples, and the pigs love these fruit. Another one that they really love, and I'm sure we all love them too, these are avocados. So these are just a couple of the avocados that have fallen. But I'll show you some photos later. I'll send you a photo of some of the ones that get bigger than my hand, as big as your face. Beautiful, beautiful avocados. But so the pigs are eating the avocados and the lilikoi and the guavas and wild mangoes, which are trees all around us. But what they really love, and we have over 2,000 of these trees, is the macadamia nut. So we have these macadamia nuts here, and they actually fall to the ground in these pods. So you have to wait. They're very labor intensive because they have to fall to the ground and they fall down in these pods. And after they start to dry, you see a little split here. So what we do is we end up popping open this husk and you get the inner shell. Okay, so you can see how dark that inner shell is, and then they have to dry out. So they'll dry, and you can see when they have to dehydrate. We dry for about 3 weeks. And once they dry for 3 weeks, then you can finally crack open and enjoy that nut. 25 bucks a pound, macadamia nuts. But the pigs love these things, and on a quiet night, I can hear them walking around the woods here, and you can hear them pop those nuts like sunflower seeds with their jaws. So I have a device here called our little vice grip, and I put a macadamia nut inside the vice, and this macadamia nut is pre-dried, and I see if you crack this down, you'll hear exactly what you hear at night when these pigs are cracking the nuts with their jaws. And that's what I hear all night long. And then pop that open that up, and there's that macadamia nut inside. Let's get that open a little more. And there it is, delicious, raw, organic macadamia nut. These are good. So guys, next time you're in Hawaii, come see us over at Experience Nut Ridge Luau. We'd like to show you around. Cheers.
I'm going to be using the red dot sight, the Trijicon SRO. And basically you can see what I'm looking at right there. We're at about close to 50 yards, and you can see where the dot is rested right now. So I think this is a 3.5 inch dot, or maybe a 5 inch dot. I'll have to check to determine which one it is, but essentially that means that 3 minute of angle, 3.5 or 5 minute of angle, MOA, means that that distance of 100 yards, that dot will cover 3.5 or 5 inches. So this is a 44 mag Taurus Raging Hunter that I'm going to be shooting with Hornady 240 grain XTP. Now this is a load that I've used a lot in the past, and I'll tell you, it is extremely accurate, as we'll see here in just a little bit. But getting ready to set up for the fall. Got hunting seasons coming on before too very long. Got a hog hunt coming up with Luke and Jeff here in about a couple of weeks or so. And so this time I'm going to try to go back to my old ways of shooting a handgun. And as I mentioned, this is a 44 mag, which I dearly love. Raging Bull, I'm sorry, it used to be the Raging Bull, now it's the Raging Hunter. When I first started shooting the Taurus revolvers, the one I shot in the 44 mag was a Raging Bull, but they have done so many different improvements to it since that time. And even though that gun was extremely accurate these days, guess what? It's even more accurate. So I'm gonna get set up here in just a little bit, and we'll start doing some shooting. As you can see, it is indeed summertime. I'm nearly sopping wet. Been planting a bunch of different seeds that I'm hoping some of them might come up between now and hunting season. Others will come up probably during the winter time or early spring. And trying to take my little place here from a place that's been badly overgrazed for about 150 years that my family has had it, to bring it back to where it was, where I remember it, when we had a fair number of trees scattered out on this place, and had kind of a savanna, but had a thick cover down around a little old creek that is now been cleared a long time ago, back in the 50s, 1950s that is. And so among other things, I've got my rifle range set up here, and I'm getting ready for hunting season. Shooting a lot this year. My plans are to shoot a lot with this Taurus Raging Hunter. Now years ago when I was on staff with Shooting Times, I did a lot with Taurus, but back then it was called the Raging Bull. And
shot several deer with it. One thing I remembered about it was extremely accurate. Well, one of the things they've done in terms of improvement is greatly increase the size of the frame, the barrel length. Got the Picatinny rail so that you can mount the Trijicon RSO sight on it. Also has a muzzle brake up here, so it really kind of makes it a pleasure to shoot. Got a target set up here at about, probably 30 yards, because that's kind of where I'm going to be hunting to start with. And then after I shoot it at 30 yards, I'll try to move the target back to 100 on another day. But sighted it in for 25 a couple days ago, and then moved it out to 100 and resighted it in. So we're going to see what it does at 25. And then, like I say, after a little bit, next time I come out, I'll be shooting it at 100. But for the time being, where I'm hunting with Luke and Jeff for hogs, my longest shot's going to be about 30 yards. So that's what I'm sighting in for. It's got the Trijicon RSO sight, the RSO sight. There's also an RMR, and that's one that I used to have on a lot of my other revolvers, but this is the Trijicon RSO, and basically it's got a little red dot. The little red dot is a 3.5 minute dot, which means at 100 yards it covers up 3.5 inches at 100 yards. So that'll give you the opportunity to get a good solid shot on an animal out to that distance. And with this 44 mag, this shooting a Hornady 240 grain XTP ammo, I can tell you it's accurate out to 100 yards. I shot it the other day that way. Shot it at 25, had it sighted in, dead on, took it out to 100. Made a couple of minor adjustments at 100. So now I'm going to go back and shoot it at 30 and see what we can come up with. My bean bag's about to come apart here, unfortunately, so I always want to try to keep that in front of the cylinder. And don't ever put your hands up here on the front. Never shoot a revolver like this, because if you do, it'll probably cut off your fingers. Always keep your grips back behind the gun, the trigger guard. Never forward of the trigger guard. Okay, never ever forward of the trigger guard. I'll repeat that because I don't want you to see you losing fingers. So we're going to take a couple shots here and see what happens, and see what it does at 25. Right through the almost the bullseye. Another hole right there in the bullseye. I'm gonna move the camera down closer to the target. Hopefully I won't hit the camera, but we've got 2 shots in. That'll give you an idea, and we'll see what it looks like when it hits the target. Well, as you can see, it shoots pretty good. I shot a little bit to the left on some of them on 3 shots, but I also tell you that I know the trigger broke to the left when I pulled the trigger. The trigger's a little bit heavy, and so it takes me a couple of shots to kind of get used to what it's doing, but once it does, then I can settle down. And you saw the order of the shots, but I'll tell you, at 25 yards, any animal that I shoot at with this particular load is going to be in danger. And if I do my part, I know that XTP 240 grain will do its part. As you can see, it's pretty accurate. This particular, there's 6 shots right here at about 30 yards. Now at 100, what I did the other day is this right here. I sighted it in here at this particular target. I was about 1.5 inches high, so I shot it this first again just to be sure. Shot at this target. I was 1.5 inches high, or almost 2 inches. Then what I did is I lowered the sight so that I thought I was going to be pretty much dead on at 100. Fired 2 shots. Those 2 were in the exact same hole. The other 2 more shots that I shot here were also shot at 100. And you can see I'm shooting a little bit to the left, and I think that's coming from that heavy trigger pull. I'm just still now getting used to it. Not so sure that I may not have this gun worked on the trigger just a little bit, because you can see how accurate the potential of it is. So basically, once I shoot it a little bit, maybe the trigger will ease up a little bit. If not, I'll have it worked on by a guy that runs the Handgun Hunting International, and has a shop in Fredericksburg, Texas. So eventually, if I don't correct on this to where trigger comes down a little bit as far as trigger pull, then probably what I'll do is have it adjusted a little bit. So this is where I really want to shoot, right here. But I'll tell you what, that right there isn't bad. Now, one of the things, this is a Trijicon RSO sight. You look through it a little bit and you can see the red dot. Now you can either increase the intensity of that red dot by pushing it on the back side where there's a plus, or you can decrease the intensity of it by reducing a little bit. So in a very bright situation, you may want to have it really bright. In a kind of low light situation, you may want to come down on it a little bit. It just makes it shooting a little bit easier, and to me, for my eyes, to adjust to it. Now this is a double action. Now it looks like there's ammo in there, and yes, there is ammo in there, but it's also it's been shot, so I'm going to take it out, and it's got kind of a double mechanism here that allows you to take the cylinder out so that you can either replace it or there we go. You can see these have been shot right here, and I'm not going to reload it right now, but I want to show you one more thing about this gun. This is a double action. Now, double action means that simply you can cock the hammer, and if you'll notice, I know there's nothing in here, but just to be on the safe side, I'll check it another time, make sure that there's nothing there by the chamber, nothing in the cylinders, close it up, make sure I've got it pointed in the proper direction, which means away from anything. So I can get ready to shoot this thing. There are two ways to do it. One of them is to cock the hammer before you pull the trigger. So you can cock the hammer like you would with a single action that would be required with a single action. Or, if you want to, once you get used to the trigger pull, you can shoot it double action. That means I can pull the trigger, the hammer comes back, the cylinder rotates, and aligns it properly, and the shot goes off. Now you see my hand right here. I'm simply doing this to show you I would never, ever, ever place my hand in front of the cylinder anywhere forward. Remember, never beyond, once you get live ammunition in it, or even if think there may be, and it's better never, ever to even do what I did right there. Always keep your hand back here, because there's a tremendous amount of hot gas that escapes that little gap right there, and it can literally, if you had your hand right here, it'd probably cut your finger off. So always remember, if you're shooting a revolver, single action, double action, it doesn't make any difference. Always be sure you keep your hand back here when you pull the trigger. So, great gun, the Taurus Raging Hunter. It's 44 mag. It is ported. If you see the little holes right up there, it means it's ported. That releases some of the gas right as the bullet is about to come out. Now that means the gas goes back in the back direction, so you can feel it. Handguns are loud. That's why I'm wearing these, and generally I'm wearing eye protection as well too. In this case I wasn't, should have been doing it regardless, but unfortunately I wasn't, and gladly didn't have to pay the price. But you want to be careful. Always wear hearing protection when you're shooting these ported type guns or handguns. With the ones we have now, you've got the kind that, oh my God, you can turn up the volume, you can turn it off, or whatever you want to do, and you can hear a whole lot better when you get older. So a lot of fun shooting with these handguns. We're going to go on a hunt here in the next several days, and by golly, we're going to see what we can come up with a handgun to take. Been years since I've seriously hunted with a handgun. There was a time I almost hunted with them exclusively. So y'all stay tuned. We'll see what we can come up with.
Hello folks, welcome to A Sportsman's Life. Today we're going to talk a little bit about trail cameras. So we've got the Stealth Cam Fusion cellular trail cam, and we've already got some of these set up on the ranch, but we've got another one. This is the brand new one just off the shelf, and we're going to get this set up. I'm going to show you folks how easy this really is. Now, one of the reasons why we use the wireless cameras like this is the fact that we can see what's going on. These are our eyes in the woods when we're not there. So during the week when we're at work and that type thing, we know when the hogs are coming, we know when the deer are moving, we know what's going on and when they're coming in. So it's a great tool to have to know what's going on your property. So I really wanted to talk a little bit about the Stealth Cam, because this one is really quite amazing. Sends pictures right to your phone, and it's just fantastic. I'm sitting at home, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I might get a text, and I got a picture of a hog standing under the feeder. So, but it really will tell you when they're coming in. you know, kind of what direction they're coming in, what's coming in, and gives you just good information. It really, it helps you when you're ready to hunt, you know kind of what's going on in the woods around you. So really, it's this simple. Get the package, open it up, here's what it looks like. You got batteries that go in the little pack here, and we're gonna drop that in the back. But before we do that, you have to download the app onto your phone. So I've got an iPhone here that's got the app on it. And since I already have cameras out on the property, I've got an established account. So really all you do is set this up, set up the account, and then it's going to ask you to scan that barcode. So literally that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to go in here, and I am going to scan this camera, as you can see here, and it just asks you to face it right there, hit next, boom. It's reading my data plan. It says, yep, you've got a data plan. Yep, we're adding this camera to your data plan, and we're going to have another camera set up. So really all we do now, it's quite simple. Put our little battery pack in here. Make sure you put it in the right direction. Snap it in. Go wrap this baby around a tree. You got to make sure you turn it on. I got to turn it on when we get down there, but it's that simple to set up. There's really nothing to it. Now, had I not had other cameras out here and I had to set this up, there's no additional steps. It's already identified your camera. What you want to do is you want to go in here. Now, know this, folks, that there are some settings in your phone for this camera, so you can control this camera with your phone. So there's different data plans, there's different settings. You might want high resolution, you might want a little more infrared. There's different settings that you can set your camera remotely using your cell phone. But look at the data plans. When you set your plan up, look at the plan. You can change plans. So I have the basic plan. It's like $7.50 a month. That limits to me to like, I don't know, like 1,000 pictures or whatever. But I go in and I delete pictures as needed. I don't keep everything, certainly, but it's good information to have. So it's really that simple. There you have it, folks. It's the Stealth Cam Fusion, and I tell you what, there is nothing better for seeing what's going on in the woods around you, on your deer lease, on your property, just security. I mean, if you could put this thing at the front gate of the ranch here, and if somebody's coming in this place, I'm going to know about it because this is going to send me a picture. So check them out, folks. Stealth Cam Fusion, very inexpensive. They're, I don't know, $150 for something like this, maybe, roughly. And the information it gives you is absolutely invaluable, so check them out.
See y'all next week.
And a special thanks to these fine sponsors: Air Force Air Guns, B&B Charcoal, Dallas Safari Club, Hornaday, Pyramid Air, Taurus Firearms, Sightmark, Smokin' Tex, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, TRHP Outdoors, and Striper Express.